Should I start, Gunjan?
Please wait, we are live streaming now.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Sandeep Kaur, and on behalf of SAP Labs India and EduNet Foundation, we welcome our respected institution heads, faculty members, and students in today's webinar. SAP has organized the webinar on Building Career in SAP and Technology Ecosystem. In the webinar today, we have with us Mr. G. Chandra Mauliswaran, Head of Strategic Learning Services, SAP India. And we also have with us Mr. Gunjan C. Patel, Regional Director and Head of CSR, SAP Indian Subcontinent. Welcome, Molly, and welcome, Gunjan. We have our students waiting to hear from you, and we look forward to an amazing 1 hour of learning session. So now over to you, Gunjan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandeep, and I would like to welcome, first of all our students, faculties from all over the India that you have joined for this webinar. And I would like to warmly welcome Mauli, our colleague from SAP. And thank you, Sandeep and EduNet Foundation team for collaboration and having our students for this webinar. So the topic for today's webinar is how do we navigate our career pathways in SAP and technology ecosystem. I mean, for students, it's always a very exciting topic. How should I build, or in which way I build my career, or what should be the focus areas of my studies, and how do I actually, what should I pursue in my career? What topic should I take up? And these are all perpetual question in students' mind. So today we want to take the opportunity here, how you as students, when you are studying or when you are, let's say, having a job, you can still build your career and having a very great career pathways. In this webinar, Mauli, our colleague from SAP India, would speak about the difference between job and career. Uh, Students always are concerned when they are completing their education or when they are in their jobs, whether they want to focus only on the next step or build a long-term career. And it is very essential that when especially you students, you are in college, or if you have a couple of years of experience, you while you work on your assignments or on your daily work, you should have eyesight or have a vision for a career and how you build a great career. uh, then we want to speak about SAP certification. So more for most of you who are going through SAP certification program, uh, you might have heard from our trainers and EduNet Foundation team about SAP certification. So we want you to understand what is the value and the value proposition of this SAP certification. While there is some value assigned to it, the value proposition is infinite, and of course this is being taken care of through SAP's CSR initiative. So what you need to worry about is how you leverage this SAP certification maximum. There are newer topics that are emerging. If I want to look at Industry 4.0, or what are the future centric skills that you should be learning, and what would be your career look like after you learning this technology. So there would be a sneak peek into what would be the Industry 4.0 and future skills and how you learn. And again, I just want to remind to the students that your learning should not be restricted or limited to your college or the job that you do. You should always learn, relearn, and skill and upskill yourself. Let's say if you are graduating at the age of 20, 22, or 25, or if you are a postgraduate at 25, 26, and you still have a career till the age of 60, 65. So imagine you still have another 30 to 35 more years to go. So would your learning in the college be sufficient for you to sail through next 30 to 35 years of your life or your career? that again should make you think that you need to learn, relearn, or upskill, reskill yourself at a regular time frame. How you become or how you get yourself equipped with the future ready. And now you might be reading or hearing a lot about what would the future of work look like. And here Molly will speak a little bit about how you should or how you can build yourself future proof and future ready. And last but not the least, it is all about SAP learning or the future skills topics and how you can navigate your career journey through SAP Learning Hub. And we are here to help you out in navigation of your career goals and journey. So these are few things which we want to share with you. If you have questions, please do share with us. And if you can't share your question now, if you have question in future, do send them to us and we would be happy to address to you. We want to ensure that you build an amazing career wherever you decide to go. So with that, I would now hand it off to Mauli for further conversation. Mauli, over to you.
Thank you, Gunjan. Let me quickly share my screen, and I need a confirmation that everybody is able to see my presentation, and I'm also audible loud and clear.
Yes, we can see the presentation.
Great. And firstly, thank you all for having me as part of this session. And thanks to all the student friends and the faculty members from across India. I know it's a weekend, and that too it's a weekend evening. And you could have chosen to pursue so many other recreational activities. There are so many new movies that I've got released over the weekend, and several other options. So there is a Formula One race and so many things, and you have given up on all that and decided to attend this webinar. And I can guarantee you only one thing from my experience, maybe about 20 years back, that it will be a life-changing experience for you, and you will realize it as we go along. What I'm going to be talking about is SAP certification, which is actually a global standard certification that we offer in various specializations that exist within our large enterprise resource planning application, which can become a passport to your global career. So that is the topic that we will be discussing. I will discuss this in 3 parts. The first part, let us first understand. Gunjan did tell that SAP has given you certain learning resources as part of the CSR initiative. And many a times there is a mythical belief in the market that anything that comes through CSR is given free, and hence it has no major value attached to it. But I will prove you wrong there. And one more thing before I establish that fact, important thing you need to know is Gunjan did mention about something called Industry 4.0, and we are already in the 4th industrial era, which is all about knowledge. If you have the right knowledge and skills, you will survive and flourish. Those who do not have them will perish. It's as simple as that. So knowledge is going to be the competitive advantage, and I would actually make it even more qualified by saying that it's the right knowledge that is the competitive advantage. Now let's understand what is that you have gotten in your hand for you to equip yourself and get into a career. You have actually got an opportunity to learn certain solution areas in the large SAP stack of solutions and get a SAP certification which is globally recognized. This SAP certification will help launch yourself in an SAP career. Some mention was there some time back about job versus career. Assume that you are doing your undergraduation, which is probably something like a science or a commerce graduation. You will be a graduate at 20 years of age. And if you are doing a engineering graduation, you will finish it at 21 years of age. And probably if you pursue a management graduation 2 years hence, then you will probably come into the corporate world at 23 years of age. And typically the retirement age in corporate life is 60. So getting a job when you are 20 or 21 or 23 is only one part of the story. But are you going to be relevant for the corporate world till your retirement in 60 years of age, which is anywhere between 39 and 37 years? And if I were to fix a monetary value for this, if you take up a SAP certification, the minimum I can assure you is 9 crores worth lifetime salary only. Beyond that, there are other perquisites, but that's only the salary part of it. And the third thing I can assure you with what SAP certification will give you as an edge is a global career. For an example, typically global career, people think that it is more possible for engineers because they go for their post-graduation to do an MS in US and then get into a global career. But for that for that MS program, they need to invest in Indian value about 50 or 60 crores. And the second thing is for a MBA graduate, if the person gets the opportunity to join a multinational company, maybe over a period of time, as they grow in the organization, they can look at a global career. But for the majority, vast majority balance who are the science and commerce graduates, is there a way we can enable a global career for them? Yes, there is an option for that. And that is where, again, SAP certification comes into play. Now, Gunjan, you may be wondering, how do I give this value of 9 crores? Am I right?
Yes, Molly, that was my career, that you say that a lifetime salary of 9 crore and global career. So can you elaborate there for our students so that they understand that how they get and would any students can get that if a student decides to build his or her career into SAP?
Exactly. So as I told Gunjan, SAP certification programs are global standard programs, which means whatever curriculum the students have been given to read and whatever certification exam they are going to be taking up, it is the same curriculum and the same certification exam any other person in any other part of the world who wants to get certified in that particular solution of SAP will go through. And this 9 crores is not a number I got from thin air. There is a proper logic to it. We discussed a while ago that somebody might join a job anywhere between 20 to 23 years of age. So I have taken a life span of 39 years somebody will be in a career in corporate world. I hope my Excel is visible. Just a quick confirmation.
Yes.
And I'm taking a very nominal 4 lakhs as the beginning salary. It is actually much higher in today's terms. There are organizations who are giving even 8 and 12 lakhs, but I have taken the minimum point of the starting salary somebody can get with the SAP certification, which is about 4 lakhs. And obviously, once they have joined a job, there will be year-on-year increments that will happen. And there will be obviously some good years where you will get double-digit increments, and there will also be some bad years like the 2008 recession or the early 2000 e-com burst, where you may probably end up not getting any increment also. So from my own experience of 27 years in career, I have taken a very, very nominal average of 8% year-on-year increase over the 39 years of work life. And you can see there, it's a simple Excel computation which keeps incrementing your salary 8% year-on-year for the 39 years of your corporate life. And it comes to actually close to 9.6 lakhs. It's actually on the side of 10 lakhs. So I have actually taken a much more conservative and cautious call of 9 crores. So it is not any number from thin air. It is actually a fact. And again, I reiterate, It is only the salary part of it. Beyond this, people also get variable pay, which is bonuses, which is profit sharing that companies do. Then they will get stock options as they grow in the organization. So they will also get to hold the company stocks. They appreciate over a period of time. They make a bounty in that. And with the SAP career, I also highlighted that point that it opens up a global career. So maybe after the first 2 to 4 years, you are in India-based projects, you can get into job opportunities in the US or Europe or Australia, New Zealand or Middle East and start earning in dollars or euros or dirhams. So it is actually much more than what is the number I am projecting. I am projecting a very conservative number, but this much at least I can guarantee. I hope that answers your query, Gunjan.
Yes, so essentially, Molly, what you are saying is that it's a very promising career pathways. Besides the key component of salaries, students will have ample of opportunities to diversify their learning and really get different kind of experience and exposure, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because monetary returns is only one part of the story, as you rightly said. They need to have a job for 39 years. So SAP space will give them that career for 39 years. That is point number 2. And point number 3, for many people for whom probably today a global career is a dream, it can become a reality with SAP certification. Right?
Thank you, Molly.
So then the next thing I told just a while back is many a times there is a mythical understanding in the minds of the people that anything that is a corporate social responsibility is something free. So it is not of great value. It is actually not so, students and the faculty members in the call. Let me establish that. I went through the kind of certifications that have been recommended for the students to be taking up as part of this offering, the knowledge offering from SAP. And one of the programs is a certification in SAP Financial Accounting. I'm just taking one example for a discussion purpose. And now let me take you to our own commercial website. So what we are saying is, if you want to get certified in SAP S/4HANA Financial Accounting, you need to go through a 20 days learning program comprising of 2 courses, TS4F01 and TS4F02. These are just course codes. Don't get worried about these nomenclatures. This is something internal to SAP for us to identify what version of the product it belongs to and what subject area it belongs to. S4 means S4HANA version of SAP, and F means it's for the finance module, and this is part 1 and this is part 2. And if I get into the details of this particular 2 courses, you can see here, the first one is a 10 days course and the second one is also a 10 days course, right? And if I scroll down, you can see here, this is our public website. You can go and check it for yourself, training.sap.com. You can go and check it for yourself. And it talks about what is the content that is going to be covered, what are the goals of this particular course, who are the audience who have to attend, and what are the prerequisites for this course, and what is the version on which this course is being done. And finally, the reveal comes. For somebody to do this course in the external market, please be aware, we have nearly 60 centers across India run by 20 of our franchisee partners, which means we are actually running 60 mini colleges across the country from SAP. We are part of the training and adoption team of SAP. And this 10 days program, each 10-day program will cost you 1,31,760. You can see here, this is the part 2 of the program, TSF402, which costs 1,31,760. And the same thing happens for TSF401 also, which costs another 1,31,760. All these are excluding taxes. Please note that also. So the first thing you need to understand is this course, if you miss to leverage this opportunity that has been given to you, the only thing you get to do is maybe after some years, you realize the value of an SAP certification. You will go to one of our centers and do it, and you'll have to invest 2,63,520 from your pocket. That is only one part of the story, which is for study. then you need to appear for a SAP certification. And that SAP certification, for you to appear, you need to again pay a exam fee of 16,646. Again, this is excluding taxes. So this is the investment that you will do if you miss to leverage the opportunity that has been given to you. So which means what you probably might think is of no value or less value, believe me, it is worth close to 3 lakhs plus if I were to include the taxes also. This is the minimum investment. There are some courses that are available which are probably little more expensive also. So this is like a golden opportunity for you. I only hope that you understand. With what people do as an investment of 3 lakhs and get a 9 crore lifetime salary, here for you it is zero. So it's up to you to make up your mind whether you want to use this opportunity or let go of it and probably regret later. I am sure none of you want to do that, because if the fact that on a weekend you have taken time and joining this particular session, I am confident that you know the seriousness of this particular offering that has come from SAP. And after listening to this session, I'm sure you would much more appreciate the value of this opportunity that has been extended to you, and will take it in all seriousness and make the best out of it. So in advance, my all the very best for a successful SAP career to all those who are listening.
So just Molly, I want to reiterate for the students. So students and faculties, here what you see the course fees and all, which comes to you completely free. And this is what I mentioned in my slide also, value versus value proposition. So Molly has significantly highlighted that the value proposition for SAP certification is enormous as against the value. So here what we are currently doing is enabling you students this completely free. So our only request is just leverage this opportunity, take maximum benefit of it, learn it, and then you see how you reap that benefit in your career. Yeah,
Right.
over to you, Molly.
Yeah, thank you. Now let's move on to the second part of the discussion. Why an SAP certification program? So the logical question many of you will pose me is, okay, I want a global career, I want a career over a job, but for all these, is SAP certification the only option? Surely no. I will be lying if I were to say that. So I am a very honest person. SAP certification is not the only option for you to have a career, and that to a global career with enormous returns. Then the next logical question is, why SAP certification? All that I can say is SAP certification is one of the much better options in the market, and I am a beneficiary of this myself. Because the reason is very simple. Life is a matter of choices, and every choice we make makes us. So I made a choice way back in 2002, and that's what has made me what I am today, in a manner that I can actually narrate the value of the SAP certification I decided to pursue 20 years back. And I wish to see some of you doing this maybe a few years later. So let me establish why SAP certification is one of the top alternatives for you to have a career, and that to a global one with very promising returns in terms of monetary value also. The first thing, context. Let's understand, as it has been highlighted repeatedly, we are already in the 4th industrial era. And there are 3 things that actually significantly describe this 4th industrial revolution. One is, it is a connected world. Everything and everybody is connected. And it is experience driven. People no more buy products and services, but they buy experiences. And the last one, that is the most important one, which is, it is technology driven. So Gunjan, you may wonder, can I make it even more simple for the student friends to understand in the call? Let me give you a simple example. Technology now has become ubiquitous. It is there in every field you can think of. I'm sure some of the students in this call are mechanical engineers, and you probably even today, as part of the curriculum, are learning internal combustion engines, where there is a suction stroke, then energy stroke, then a power stroke, and then an exhaust stroke. Then, but the problem is, if you are in the habit of reading news regularly, our Union Transport Minister has told that by 2027, petrol will be out of India, which means his ambitious dream is that we will only have either electric vehicles or hydrogen cell battery powered vehicles in the country. And what does that mean? The only thing, the car is going to undergo a change. The car, which today has 100 moving parts, for an example, like the piston and so many other things, in a vehicle of the future, which has already happened, the future is today. Already we have the Nexon EV and so many other EVs. Even recently, Mahindra introduced their XUV 400, which is a EV. The moving parts come down by 80% because all that it needs is an electric motor and a form of battery to power that motor and the crankshaft assembly to move the wheels. That's all. So a mechanical engineer who knows internal combustion engine, his or her utility after 5 years already has become questionable. Let me give you another example. Civil engineering. People think that civil engineering is all about, it's a brick and mortar game. I need to have a mixer where I need to push in sand, cement, gravel, etc. Make a mixture and then start applying it. Gone are those days. There is a company in Bangalore called Ethereal who actually use 3D printing to build Swachh Bharat toilets, which means civil engineering also has embraced technology. So likewise, every field you can think of has become technology driven. I can make it even more easy for you all to understand. The next big car that is expected is from Apple, who is a world famous mobile manufacturer. You can imagine. So that is the kind of redefinition that is happening. So technology is becoming an integral part of every field, and you need to be enabled for that. Unless otherwise you are that way, you cannot have this dream of a 39 years long or a 40 years long career. That is point number one. The second thing, I was told many of the student friends who have joined today are all engineers or management graduates or science graduates or commerce graduates. Let me make you all understand the reality of graduation or higher education in India. If you are going to be passing out as an engineer this year, you are actually 1 in 15 lakhs, because in India, every year, nearly 15 lakhs engineers pass out. On the other hand, if you are a management graduate, nearly 10 lakhs management graduates pass out. And if you are a science or a commerce graduate, there are nearly 30 lakhs graduates who pass out. Assume tomorrow you are sitting in front of me and I am taking your interview. If I ask you that question for a discussion, we will take a MBA graduate, for example. If I ask you that question, how are you different from the balance 9,99,999 people who are also MBA graduates? You probably won't have an answer. How do you differentiate yourself from 1 in a million to a chosen few? That is the biggest question you all need to think about and answer. That be ready with an answer during the job selection process. And for that, SAP certification is again a very good answer, because in the whole of India, it is less than 100,000 people who actually come through a SAP certification in a year, which means less than 1 lakh people only get certified in SAP. So what it essentially means is that straight away from 1 in several lakhs, you become 1 in few thousands. So that is the main differentiation, because again, SAP certification has multiple, there are 150 different certifications. So actually you don't even become 1 in 80,000, but you become 1 in probably 5,000 or 8,000, depending on your specialization. So straight away from 1 in several lakhs, you become 1 in few thousands. So you have a differentiator. You can answer that seemingly uncomfortable question with a lot of confidence during a job selection process. The second thing, This is something we discussed as a graduate. How do I get a global career? I will justify that in a little while. Hold your thought on that particular question for a while. And the third question, I mean, this is probably not relevant for the gathering here because you are actually not going to be paying for this particular course. But as I told you, even otherwise, instead of investing in 60 lakhs of Indian value for a MS course in US, can somebody just invest a 3 lakhs on an SAP certification and get a global career? And the most important thing, this is something we have discussed quite a bit for already, so I'm not getting into the detail. How do I not just get a job to get me started in the corporate world, but how do I sustain it for 38 or 40 years till I become 60 and retire? So these are the three main reasons why you should, as an individual, look at a SAP global certification. And the next thing is, why SAP? Why not some other certification program? As I told you, I'm not saying SAP is the only answer, but SAP is surely one of the, I would say easily one among the top three answers to start with. If I were to ask all of the students in the call a question in terms of, do you know Microsoft and Apple and Google? I'll make a fool of myself. I'm sure all the hands will go up and you will all be giggling at me saying that, who is this guy who is asking such stupid questions? But if the same me, if I ask you a question, what do you know about SAP? I'm sure hardly one or two hands will go up. And I can be very frank. I mean, I go for such sessions addressing students and even faculty members across India in many institutes, and even many faculty members are less aware of SAP. And I'm not surprised, and I'm not having any different view on these people, because unlike Google or an Apple or a Microsoft, which are all consumer grade applications. All of us use a Microsoft Office every day. All of us use an Android phone every day. All of us use something of Apple every day. So that's the reason we probably know all these companies. But SAP is a enterprise grade application. Large organizations worth hundreds of billions of dollars, which are globally spread, they manage that complex business using SAP. Just take a simple example, Mahindra and Mahindra Limited. Close to a 30 billion USD organization. They have nearly 30 plus businesses. They are into automobiles, they are into resorts, they are into retail, they are into so many other finance. They are into 30 plus different businesses, and they operate in nearly 20 plus countries. You can imagine the complexity. Such a big business they manage using enterprise resource planning application called SAP. So if you go to the who is who of the corporate world, like Mr. Mukesh Ambani or Mr. Anand Mahindra or Mr. Ratan Tata, they will all vouch and say that we bet our tens or hundreds of billions dollars worth businesses in using SAP application. And the most important thing is, we are not one of those recent companies. We have a 50 years pedigree. I actually request you all to do an introspection. Think in your mind and recollect how many information technology companies you can think of which have survived for 50 years and still innovating, growing, and being relevant in the market. Not many you can think of. Globally, if you look at it, there could be some examples like IBM and Microsoft. In India, the clear example would be TCS. Even if you think of all these big IT companies of today, globally, like Google or Facebook or all these people, Amazon, all these are post 2000. They are all only 20 plus years as of now. Even if you look at the India scenario, the other biggies like the Infosys, Wipro, etc., again, they're all sometime in the 1990s. So there are less than 10, I would say, globally who have a 50 plus years of pedigree and still growing and flourishing, and SAP is one such company. So you are getting into a sound career space with SAP. That is the first thing you need to understand. And I kept on saying people can get a global career, and here comes the answer. There are 400,000 customers who use our ERP application in 180 plus countries. And when I say customers, these are not individuals. These are all large organizations. A glimpse of that I'll give you in a short while. So we are talking about nearly 400,000 big organizations across the globe in about 180 plus countries using our application. And they all need SAP certified consultants for implementing, maintaining, and augmenting the SAP application aligned to their business need. You may ask, why should they then get people from outside? They can get it from their own country. Unfortunately, not every country is blessed with the kind of workforce that India has. And we Indians are the rice bowl of SAP consultants for the world. We supply SAP consultants for the world. And that's where I confidently say that if you pursue an SAP global certification, you will surely get a global career. And we are also a sound organization in terms of size. We are about a 28 billion euro, which will be in excess of 30 billion USD. A billion is 100 crores. So 3,000 crore USD is what we are saying. And we ourselves are about 110,000, I mean, nearly 110,000 employees strong, which means you also have SAP as one of the recruiting organization if you finish a SAP certification. And we have a very deep and wide solution stack. Our solution cuts across 28 industries and 11 lines of businesses. So that's where I say you will have a career with SAP. Take my example. I joined the SAP space in 2002. Just this September 2nd, I completed 20 years. I'm right now in my 21st year. So I am a case in point for you to consider. There are not, I mean, you may think that in an IT company, who the hell sticks around with one company for 20 years plus? I can tell you there is no reason for you to look beyond. SAP has not given me a reason to even look beyond or quit or do something different, because I always have so many options to grow with this kind of a wide and deep solution stack. And that's the same thing I'm promising you. I'm not talking in thin air. I'm giving you data supported logical arguments for you to understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. And the other important thing, we have nearly 23,000 partner organizations. Who are these partner organizations? You can easily imagine 400,000 customers in 180 plus countries, and customers are not small individuals. We are talking about big organizations, cannot be managed with 110,000 employees. So we have all the leading IT companies as our partners. We call them as system integration partners, who again have SAP certified resources, who need SAP certified resources to deliver projects and also do maintenance of SAP applications for our customers globally. Think of any big IT company, right from IBM, Accenture, Cognizant, Deloitte, TCS, Wipro, Infosys. I'm sure these are all some of your dream companies. All of you want to get into these companies some stage in life. All these companies are our partners. There are 23,000 such companies in the world who are our partners. So that's a huge recruitment avenue for you, because all these people have anywhere between a few hundred to several thousands of SAP practice, because like IBM has about 30,000 people in their SAP practice. And these people recruit anywhere between few hundred to few thousands of freshers for SAP practice. Just to give you a case in point, this year alone, TCS have nearly recruited 5,000 freshers only for SAP practice. And the other important thing is, why have we survived for 50 years? Because we have kept ourselves changing with the changing market needs. Like, for example, in-memory computing became a craze, and we have our in-memory database. Our applications are supported in cloud. We have all our applications are mobile enabled. They have predictive analytics, and they also support all the intelligent technologies like artificial intelligence, natural language processing, machine learning, and blockchain, and all that kind of stuff. Just to give you an example, Mahindra use our application with intelligent technologies to do something called predictive maintenance. Typically, how maintenance happens in a factory is that either they will do a periodic maintenance. They will know a particular bearing will give off after so many years of motor running. So irrespective of whether the bearing is in good shape or not, they will proactively change it to ensure that there is no breakdown of the motor. That is called preventive maintenance. Or the other option is they will wait for the bearing to fail and the motor to break down and then replace the bearing, which is called breakdown maintenance. But in the first case, you are not utilizing the full value of the bearing. When there is some economic value left in the bearing, you are discarding it. That is the wastage you incur. And in the second case, you are allowing the motor to break down, which can actually impact your manufacturing and hence a business loss. So these are the two scenarios. But with predictive maintenance, what happens is we use Internet of Things as the methodology, where we keep sensing some vital parameters of this motor, like the vibration levels, the temperature, etc. And with that, we develop some algorithms using natural language, machine language, to predict when this particular bearing is about to give off. And just before that happens, they will do a maintenance. That is what is called predictive maintenance. And that is something our applications are matured to that extent. So we have kept in pace with time. So that is the reason we are still growing and innovating organization even after 50 years. And these are some of the facts. I can boldly tell, in India, if you look at it, all the oil and gas companies use SAP. All the automobile manufacturers use SAP. In the telecom industry, only Airtel does not use SAP. Like that, I can go on saying every industry you can look at it, almost every company will use SAP, or except for one or two companies, they will use SAP. What that essentially means is that if you look at the GDP of these 180 countries that we are talking about, I can very confidently say that our SAP applications are used to manage at least about 60% plus of the GDP of these countries. That's the kind of powerful application space you are getting into. You are not getting into some small-time accounting software or a small-time custom-built .NET software kind of a thing. This is an application that has been built over 50 years and still getting built, getting enhanced, aligned to the changing times, and has won the trust of 400,000 customers in 180 plus countries. That is the kind of space you are getting into. Please understand that. And with a huge initial job opportunity and a career, because we have SAP recruiting you, we have 23,000 partners recruiting you, and some of our customers also have SAP Competence Center where they recruit. Come to Bangalore, I can show you. Mercedes-Benz, Shell, all these people have their competency centers in India to manage their SAP applications, to manage the global operations. So there are few thousands of people in each of these centers in Bangalore. So that's the kind of job opportunities and career opportunities I am talking about. Now, having said this, who are some of our customers who are using it? Just look at this. Look at the kind of organizations, all the big names: Coke, Nestle, Sony, Shell, Toyota, Unilever. And why leave out India? Again, look at the two biggies in the 100 billion club, Tata and Reliance, plus all the other big organizations. All of them use SAP. And look at the size of business we are talking about. We are not talking about some small-time. Business. Look at Toyota. We are talking about 256 billion US dollars. A billion, as I told you, is 100. So 25,600 crore dollars, and the dollar is 80. We are talking about 21 lakh crores. I hope you understand. 21 lakh crores worth business is getting managed for only one company called Toyota. So you can imagine. That's the reason I said our applications are used to manage at least 60% plus of the GDP of any of those 180 countries we are talking about. So that's the kind of application space you are getting here. And so don't even have any doubt in terms of whether you're making the right move. If you don't make the right move, then probably, yes, you may probably regret later. I'm sure you'll all be wise enough not to do that, go that route, right? And these are some of the partners, organizations. I talked about the leading IT companies. This is very, very small list. As I told you, there are nearly 27,000 plus partners we have. So this is a very, very small list, and it's much more than what you see in this particular slide. Now I come to the last part of my presentation, which is about how do you then go about doing this. All that I would say is work hard in silence and let your success be the noise. Believe me, you have got something which is worth 3 lakhs, which otherwise people spend outside in the market, and you need to make the best of it. You are having all the curriculum for you to read. You are having the SAP Global Certification for you to take. You also have the servers to practice. So it's a comprehensive package that has been given to you. Take it serious, get SAP certified, and be in a position to answer that awkward question of how are you different from several lakhs others available in the market, and begin a career in SAP. And when you begin a career in SAP, how it happens is, as I told you, there are 3 kind of organizations who recruit SAP certified consultants. One is we ourselves, SAP. Second is our partner organizations, all those big names we talked about, and some of the customers. Like, for example, Reliance, they run their entire 100 billion plus business in SAP, and they have a competency center in Navi Mumbai. and that is about they have about 1,000 plus people only to manage their SAP application. So that's a kind of investment some of our big customers do. And the second important thing is many times people have a fear when the moment we say information technology career, people have a fear that I need to be a programmer, otherwise I don't stand a chance. Actually, this is again a myth. You don't need to be a programmer only for you to have a career in SAP. Like, for example, I am not a programmer. SAP is built on a language, SAP's own proprietary language called Advanced Business Application Programming. We call it as ABAP. But there are also careers for non-programming folks. I am not a programmer. I specialized in SAP HR module, Human Capital Management module. Likewise, many of the chartered accountants specialize in SAP Financial module. Some of the MBA specialize in SAP Controlling module or Operations module. The commerce students specialize in SAP Financial Accounting module. Likewise, science people probably take up programming, and IT engineers take up programming. So like that, depending on the graduation you are going through, you can take up either a programming or a non-programming specialization on certification in SAP. So there is a career for everybody. That's the first thing. You don't necessarily need to be a programmer for you to have this one in SAP. And there are several kind of roles you can play in SAP. Obviously, you will first start as a consultant, and that is what will take you to the globe, the 180 plus countries I talked about. Your passport will be filled with all these country stamps. And the other thing is, it's a enjoyable journey that you will have till your retirement. Actually, for that matter, I can tell you some of my colleagues who have already retired, they are still continuing as freelance consultants because they probably are finding it difficult to sit idle at home. So there are people who are actually making a extended career out of it even after retirement. So I have proof points for that. I can get them actually to vouch for that. So it's a phenomenal opportunity that has been extended to you. Again, I reiterate, this is not the only option for you to tick all those boxes we talked about in terms of a career, and that to a global one with very promising monetary and other returns. But this is surely among the top choices that you can get. And the best part is what is worth in the market for about 3 lakhs plus has been given to you. Please understand the value of it and make the most out of it. I wish you all the very best. And I also share my LinkedIn and Twitter handles. If any of you want to stay connected and get more advice, or I keep posting a lot of things about what's happening in the SAP world, what are some of the things we are offering from training and adoption. And if people also approach me for queries in terms of how can they further their careers in SAP, I'll be happy to support. With that, I end my narration and back to you, Gunjan.
Thank you. Thank you, Molly. I think this is quite insightful, and I'm sure students would have gotten to learn a lot out of your narration. I mean, before we open it up for the students, maybe and we have 10 minutes, so I'm mindful of the time constraint that we have. Any last advice that you want to give to the students? You spoke in length and in depth about SAP and our ecosystem and the opportunities. But other than that, how students can make a holistic career, and maybe you can share your journey, because 20 years that you have built, you come from a very humble background, a small village, and now you have seen the transformation in yourself. So what do you want to share with student?
Right. That's a very good question, Gunjan. From an immediate term perspective, first thing is they need to convince themselves that SAP is a good career space for them. I'm sure many of them probably would not have had this level of understanding prior to coming to this session, and hopefully this has given them that meat. And obviously, today we are in a democratic data world, so they can further do any kind of Googling to get convinced in terms of how big the SAP career world is. So that is point number one. First, develop a belief that SAP is a great space for me to develop a career. Without that self-belief, nothing is going to happen. That's the first thing. And the second thing is let them actually understand the value of what we have offered. I have put it in numbers. I don't think it needs any more justification in terms of both the investment and the returns, the both sides of it. So let them realize that and take it serious and work hard in silence. And it's actually a matter of preparing themselves for the big battle they have to fight for the next 39 years. So they need to use this opportunity, learn this very, very sincerely, and attempt the global certification and clear it. Because global certification also, the passing percentage is only between 65 and 70%. So there are a good 30 to 35% who fail. So it's not something that is easy to crack. It's like a CAT exam or a IIT JEE exam. It's a tough exam. It's a global standard certification. Please understand that. So if you get certified in India, anywhere in the world, people will understand that, oh, this person is SAP certified. So that's the kind of certification we are giving. So understand the value of that, take it really serious, and get started and crack the certification exam. That is in the immediate term for you to put your first foot into the SAP career space. That is point number one. Point number two, as you told right at the beginning of the session, it doesn't end there. You need to reinvent yourself, because as I told you, SAP has remained relevant for 50 years plus only because we have as a product, it has evolved itself with the changing market demands. And when the product evolves, obviously for you to stay relevant as a resource, you also need to reinvent yourself. So there needs to be continuous upskilling, cross-skilling, reskilling, and we need to stay relevant. And that's what I do. Even as recent as 1.5 years back, I took up a new certification. And that's how I keep myself relevant. So as Gandhiji says, learn as though you're going to live forever. So that's the kind of learning you need to do. And that is what will keep you in the long term. So there's a short-term objective and there's a long-term objective. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, I think I'm sure students will take this along with them, and it's a the life journey is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and getting first job is not an end in itself. So
exactly.
do not get disheartened if you do not get something of your choice. Keep working hard, and you will definitely get it. So and always in life there are more failures than the successes. So always strive hard and never give up. So thanks, Molly. I think this is quite insightful. So Sandeep, if we have any questions which we can pose to Molly in the given time that we have now.
Yes, we have many questions. Students have asked really many questions to Molly while he was speaking and telling them. So what I'll do is I'll read these questions on behalf of students to Molly, and I'll also put them in chat. So Molly, the first question comes from Arpita Roy. She's asking, how can we decide which course will be better for students and professionals to choose from list of courses available in SAP?
Right. I have given some guidance during my narration, wherein I said that it can be either based on your graduation that you are pursuing, and I also was told that there are some people in the audience who probably have just got started in their career. So it could be based on your current work experience also. I mean, in India, we know, right? We all graduate in one space and we probably end up working in a very different space. I also started that way. I am an MBA in marketing, but I actually started specializing in human resources in my first job. So these things happen. So assume that you are an MBA marketing person. I'll take my own example. If I had taken SAP as a career during my MBA marketing days, I would have probably taken SAP specialization in, say, sales module. But since I actually took it up after my work, starting my work, which is where I specialized in human resources, I took up SAP Human Capital Management as the specialization. On the other hand, some people who are in probably IT engineering or computer science engineering or BSc computer science or BCA, MCA, for them probably programming is a flair. So they can take up programming as a certification. So it can be either based on your graduation or it can be based on your work experience. And there could be some outliers also. I mean, probably somebody has a flair for programming, but probably they, because of parental pressures or whatever, they got into something which probably they didn't want to. So if something still interests that interests them, they can take up anything. So 3 options: base it on your education, base it on your work experience, or follow your passion. That's all.
So we have next question from Abdul Aziz Mohammed. Please suggest me the courses related to AI machine learning from SAP Learning Hub.
Right. Okay. So for firstly, good question. And But one important thing I would like to highlight to all the student friends in the call is don't get carried away by all these new jargons like artificial intelligence, natural language processing, etc., etc. They are essential. They are here to stay for many generations to come. I agree to all that. But getting certified in that alone is not going to help you. Please understand that. AI or ML or NLP, all these new technologies are just something like a catalyst to do things better. What happens? Let me explain you. In a very simple way, you can understand. In a phone, if you want to send a happy birthday message and you start typing HAP in WhatsApp, it immediately says, it comes up with the recommendation happy. You select that. Then the moment you say BIR, it comes with birthday. And then the moment you say AND, it says and many more happy. So it keeps going. So this is what is artificial intelligence. It's just making it easy for you. That's all. Nothing more than that. But nobody has invented artificial intelligence for you to send birthday messages. It has certain business purpose. But for that business purpose, for you to do that, you need to understand how a business operates, how a sales happens, how a procurement happens, how a manufacturing happens. The example I gave you, you may think that you are the king of IoT or the queen of IoT, but if you don't know how to apply it in a Mahindra maintenance context for optimizing their maintenance spend, your knowledge is of no use. So that is where don't get carried away by artificial intelligence kind of things as the core specialization. Read them as ancillary specializations later, but focus on one core business specialization. That is what will keep you relevant for many years to come. Because by the end of the day, technology in isolation is meaningless. Only if it makes a business impact in terms of a revenue growth or a cost saving or a better customer experience for an organization, then it becomes meaningful. And you as a consultant, you are expected to visualize that. How can I, today, we all enjoy using a Swiggy or a Zomato app, no? But why is that so? Because the entire experience matters. And there's a business impact of that for the company which is making us use these applications. That is what we need to have in mind. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, definitely. So there's one more question the student has asked. What are the key elements for a sustainable professional growth? What are the things that a professional should keep in mind?
Right. See, first and foremost, let's all understand one thing. You can be an engineer, you can be an MBA, you can be a commerce graduate, you can be a science graduate. By the end of the day, you are all joining a corporate, you are joining a company in corporate world, means you are going to be part of a certain function. You may be in a finance function or a manufacturing function or a procurement function or a sales function or a maintenance function. There are several functions within an organization. And being a civil engineer, it's not only enough for you to actually know how to build a building or how to design a building, because nearly 60% of a project value of a construction is actually procurement. You buy cement, you buy steel, you buy so many other things. So you need to be very, very thorough about procurement process. Every penny you save in procurement process is a direct addition to the profit to the project and the organization. So that is where always have a business perspective to the space you are in. So always beyond your engineering or whatever knowledge you are in, develop a business function specialization. That is point number one. Second, in today's world, it is all about innovative thinking. I'll give you an example. One of our German customers, they were selling compressors. Compressors are used to make compressed air, which is used in manufacturing companies worldwide. They used to sell compressors, and compressors are worth several lakhs or several crores. But now with Internet of Things, they have cracked a new business model where they are saying to a customer, you don't need to buy my compressors. Give space in your factory. I will put up my compressor. Like you consume electricity in your home or internet in your home, using Internet of Things, I will measure how much of compressed air you are consuming in a month. And I will only charge you for that. Which means where the CFO of that customer organization who used to spend several crores of rupees buying a compressor, now suddenly from a capital expenditure, it has become an operating expenditure, like paying for an electricity or paying for a gas or paying for a internet. This is what we say is creative thinking. So you need to really, learn about things like techniques like design thinking, etc., for you to actually stay creative, curious, innovative. That is the second most important aspect. And the third most important aspect is human skills. Believe me, that is what is probably going missing in many of the, with all due respect to the young people in the call. People are becoming individual islands. By the end of the day, please understand, people buy things from people. They don't buy, they may buy it through Swiggy or Zomato. By the end of the day, if that last mile connectivity, the delivery person misbehaves with you, the entire experience is lost. So always develop, keep an eye on your people skills, interpersonal skills, communication skills. These things matter. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes. We have Mohit Upadhyay. He has many questions for you. So Molly, considering the time constraint as well, he's asked, sir, tell us the courses for automobile engineering. Is the SAP production and planning there in the list? And also, last question that he has is SAP business warehouse and SAP material management. Do we have courses in that?
Okay, see, I'm sure this kind of a question will be running in the minds of several students in the audience community. And Gujar, correct me if my understanding is right. You said that there are some mentors and coaches attached to the students as part of the program.
Yes.
Who do some sessions. So my suggestion would be, because this is highly tailored advice we need to give, depending on what is the knowledge asset we have given them, what is their educational or work background, and aligned to that, we need to marry the right course to them. So my suggestion would be, as a generic advice I'm giving, please get in touch with your mentor or the coach, whoever is interacting with you as part of this particular program. Give your background in terms of education and work experience if you have any, and they will then give you the right suggestion in terms of from the available knowledge asset that has been given to you from SAP, which is the right course curriculum and the right certification for you to pursue. I hope that answers the question, because this is a question that will be running in many minds. So it's better to give a better, more holistic approach, which is more sustainable.
Molly, excuse me, you'll have to give me time for two more questions. And
No
I'm
problem.
getting questions like I have a question from Jainit Makwana. He said, which certification should I pursue if I want to become an investment banker?
Okay. Firstly, I'm not worried about the number of questions because for me, actually, if there are questions coming, I am happy that people have listened, because that's when their thinking hats come on and they ask questions. So I'm glad that on a weekend evening, they have not only bothered to take time off to attend, but they have listened intently. So thanks to all of you for that. That is point number one. See, again, don't get into these kind of things of, if I have to be an investment banker, if you are looking at investment banking as the career, then I would say don't even get into SAP. I mean, I'll be very blunt here. I mean, as I told you, I'm a honest person. I'm not here to just sell an SAP dream to anybody and everybody in this one. As I told you, we are a very, very specialized enterprise resource planning application company, globally recognized as the leader in this space. And if you are going to be an investment banker, why would you even do an SAP certification? It's irrelevant for you. Pursue some other course which is relevant for investment banking, which is more management oriented. Because SAP is more about applying technology in a management context. So it is more for people who are interested in that kind of a career. So I'm being very honest here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to put down anybody or anything. I believe in giving honest answers for the questions. So it's more from that perspective.
Yes, Molly, I have one more question here, and it's a question that is really exciting. He said, we have a question from Technical Publication. He said, what is the future of AI and SAP after 10 years?
As I told you, I don't place too much importance on AI because AI is, as I told you, it is just icing on the cake. It cannot become the cake itself. It is just an icing on the cake. Like AI, there are other icings like natural language processing and machine learning and Internet of Things and blockchain and so many other things. But the cake itself is important. SAP is a cake. AI is a icing on the cake. The icing can keep changing. Tomorrow, AI, even who knows, AI can get replaced by something, but SAP will stay. I mean, it's not some, I mean, they say, no, the best way to predict the future is to look back at the history. Look at the last 50 years, SAP has survived. It is not like technology has not changed. No, we started with client server architecture. When way back in 1972, we started with client server architecture. In 1980, when mainframe became the buzzword, we adapted to mainframe. Then in 1990s, we started with not client server. Client server happened much later. I'm saying first we started with something like MS-DOS disk. I mean, I'm not sure how many of you will even know such things. You insert a disk in your computer and it will start working with the SAP. It's that way we started. It's like individual computers, we need to have this application installed. That's how we started. Then 1980s, mainframe became the reality. So we adapted to mainframe. Our application became compliant with mainframe. In 1990s, client-server architecture came in. We became adaptable to client-server architecture. In 2000, .NET boom happened. We became adaptive to .NET. In 2015, in-memory computing became a big thing. We came up with S4HANA, SAP HANA, the in-memory database. In little later, all these AI, NLP, all these people are talking, all these became a buzzword. We have become compliant on that. But the cake has remained. Please understand, the icings have kept changing, but the cake has remained. That's why I said SAP is a cake. Don't confuse AI and ML with SAP. AI and ML is also supported in SAP. That's why I will say it, but the cake is important. So you are getting into the SAP space. That is what will keep you in a career. Icing will not keep you in a career. I hope that answers the question.
Yes,
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I think, Sandeep, we are quite over time. So maybe
Yes.
other questions you can compile and share with us, and we try to circle back with the responses. So I really want to thank you, Molly, and to all the students, faculties, and trainers. Do send your questions, and we would revert to you. And we may do many such more sessions so that students have more insights into this whole exciting world of technology. And maybe last word from you, Molly, before we close, and then.
Thank you all for taking time and listening and intently listening and coming up with a lot of questions. Unfortunately, because of the time constraints, we are unable to answer all the questions. And as Gunjan rightly said, we will try and revert with as many answers as possible in coming days. And my only last word would be, irrespective of whether you choose SAP as a career or not, I wish each one of you a very successful and happy future and all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Molly. Thanks a lot for your valuable time. I'm sure students had an amazing session, and you really shared insights with them, the SAP career. And I'm sure from now onwards, they'll be looking really serious into all the certifications that we are giving to them, and they'll understand the value addition that they're going to get and make most out of it. So thank you very much for your time again. Thank you very much, Gunjan. Thanks a lot for your cooperation in coordinating this event. I am sure that we'll have more such events and webinars from Molly sir. We will hear from him again. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.